welcome back to another episode of Movie Bracket Challenge.
This is my coverage of James and the Giant Peach. This is a Tim Burton movie as well as a Disney. I thought you can definitely see Tim Burton all over this movie, and I love how it went from live action to animated to live action and animated in the end. And you'll see what I'm talking about as we recap it. James and the Giant Peach starts with the live action, and it is James and his parents unfortunately get deceased right at the beginning of our movie from a giant rhinoceros coming out of the clouds. So he has to go live with his evil aunts, and his aunts don't treat him very nice. It's sort of like a Cinderella thing that he has to get up at the crack of dawn, take care of them, do all the chores for them, and they don't care about him whatsoever. So James gets some magic, and out of really nothing, this tree that looks like it's dead, a peach starts to grow. And does it grow? It becomes huge. So huge that the ant, instead of eating the peach like they had first intended, decide to have tickets and have people come in see this giant peach. But they got to make their money after all, because they're evil and they don't share anything for nothing. And they make James clean up after all of this, and he is just their chore boy. And so James one night, very hungry, decides to eat a little bit of the peach after he chases this grasshopper. But somehow he turns magically into an animated character, crawls up inside the peach, and gets to meet all these fun characters that are enlightening and really actually care about him. And he learns what love is. They decide to go on an adventure. They're going to leave the island which they're at, and they're going to go to New York. And so they get a bunch of birds and catch them with the string from the spider, and they get to fly to New York. While they're flying, they are hungry, so they start to eat the peach inside. Inside the peach, there are a lot of amazing characters that are in there. There's Mr. Grasshopper, Mrs. Ladybugs. My personal favorite is Mrs. Spider, who seems the most mothering and nurturing to James. We also have the Earthworm, and we have the Mr. Centipede. All these characters have definitely big personalities and fun. The Ladybug talks about having to leave her 1,000 ladybug children. The Centipede has its musical numbers that are fun. All the characters are a family, and they all care about James and care about each other, as we see. And I love how James is animated at this point. He goes from real boy to an animated boy, and he's having the time of his life. He knows no fun when he's with his aunts. He doesn't even know how to have fun or remember fun. And all the characters in the movie teach him about not only life lessons about caring about people and just taking care of one another, but they also teach him how to have fun again and how to smile and laugh and how to be brave. While they're on this great adventure, traveling through the oceans, and James can sit outside on what looks like stairs that have come around the peach, he gets to reflect and he gets to grow up in a way that he can't with his aunts, because they just want him to stay the same and stay their servant. And he gets to go with all these great characters. So when we're about to get to New York, the clouds start to have a storm. And being very brave, James sacrifices himself for the other animals and the other family members that he has made. He tells them to all curl up inside to the strings so the birds can keep them safe. And he goes to fight the clouds. And the rhinoceros that has taken his parents has come out to take James and his friends and his family. But James fights back, and he tells them he's not afraid anymore, which takes the rhinoceros' powers away. and James becomes brave. And unfortunately, during the storm with the rhinoceros, he loses his friends because the bridge which has surrounded the peach has come loose. It cuts the strings from the peach, which has the birds fly up with the animals inside, and Peach and James start to fall. They do land on the Empire State Building, which is where they have wanted to be. He wanted to see the Empire State Building, the largest building, and he is so happy when he finds out that he's there, and he says, "We have arrived." And then he remembers real quickly. He goes, "Well, at least I have." And he's sad, but I think proud of himself that he made it. So James is lifted down with his giant peach off the Empire State Building. And sadly, the ants reappear. And James has become real again. He's out of the animated stage. So the ants tell everybody that James is crazy. James tries to tell everybody about his adventure and how him and the peach have arrived, and tells everybody about his friends, which does make him sound crazy. And the ants try and get James, and James fights them because he's brave now and he's strong. And he fights them and says, "I will not go with you." And the ants show they're crazy. They're the crazy ones because they go after him. The fire trucks are there and they take the axes and try and hit James. But they hit the car windows, but they don't hit James. And then all of a sudden, James's friends have come back. They are back. They are ready to fight with James. And so James has the proof that he's not crazy, that his friends are real. And the friends help James defeat the ants. The spider takes her web down to James, who catches them with it. And then all the animals lift the ants up, and they decide to wrap him like a spider in the spider web. And the police see that James is not crazy and the ants are the bad guys. And then they get to be together. And then the kids who are watching all this and are excited ask if they can eat the peach. And Mr. Centipede goes, "Well, it's not going to last forever. It's not going to stay right forever, I guess." So everybody gets to eat some of the peach. And when the peach is done being eaten, there's just the core of the peach, which they put in Central Park, and they make a home for James and his friends. And now James's friends are his family. We see at the end that James makes real friends, kids his own age, and we see Mrs. Spider open the door to the core of the peach where James and his family now live, and she tells him it's time to come in, and James is thrilled and excited and happy. It's a beautiful story. Tim Burton is all over this. I did read that it was made in the same place that Nightmare Before Christmas was made, which is another Tim Burton movie. Tim Burton is just stamped all over this movie. It's fun. It's enlightening. I will warn epileptics at the end. You do have to be careful. I did mostly just listen at the end of the movie because they do have sirens once the peach is coming down off the Empire State Building. So you do have to be careful if you're light sensitive. Please watch out for the end of the movie during the ant scene. Once you hear "Take Her Away," we don't see any more lights. So that's a safe spot to look if you are epileptic. Thank you for joining me. And this was my recap of James and the Giant Peach. This is my recap of The Rescuers. I love this movie. It came out in 1977, so no, I'm not as old as the movie. But the movie came out in 1977. It is beautiful and funny and definitely brave at moments. Even the kidnapped girl we see having lots of brave moments. The movie starts with this very secret society. It is called the Rescuer Society meeting. It is a bunch of mouses from around the world, and they've come because somebody needs rescuing, and they don't let anybody go. They try and take care of everybody, which I think is so cute, because the smallest animals are trying to take care of the big ones, and yes, they consider humans animals. So Penny has dropped a bottle with a note into the water in the beginning of the movie as the credits open. This bottle has made it to the Rescuer Society, who are determined to rescue this little girl. When the rescuers are all coming in, we see that Bernard, one of our main characters, is just a janitor to begin with, and very much looked down upon from the rescuers, but not from Bianca, one of the rescuers. She sees something special in him. The letter comes out from the bottle. They read it. A lot of it doesn't make a lot of sense because the watermarks have taken some of it, but they know it's an orphan who has been kidnapped. They don't have much to go on, but the orphan needs help, so Bianca volunteers herself. Quickly, the leader is a little hesitant about Bianca, but says, it's in a different world, so women can do it now. Bernard taps on the glass he's stuck in a bottle and says that she shouldn't go alone. So we get every male mouse in there volunteering to go with her. But Bernard, who's still stuck in a bottle, is who Bianca chooses. We find out that Bernard is a very hesitant mouse. He's not real eager to be one of the rescuers, but Bianca sees something special in him. And Bianca is bold and brave and knows to take chances. They go to this pawn shop, which is Madame Medusa. It's pretty quick to know that she is our villain and she is the one to follow. And the mouses do kind of that in a way. Bernard gets stuck in her suitcase and Bianca is brave and chases her and gets into the car so that she can save Bernard from the suitcase and gets him out. Madame Medusa is off to where she has kidnapped and kept Penny with her partners. We find out that there is a diamond that Madame Medusa is trying to get, and Penny is small enough to get down the hole. That's why Penny was chosen, because she's tiny. But Penny is brave herself, and Penny is trying to escape. But she kind of escapes, but not escapes where they are. So they know she's somewhere around. But she's hiding from Madame Medusa. She's trying to get out of this situation, but she doesn't know yet. But she got some friends on the way. In the meantime, Bernard and Bianca meet a great character, Orville, who is their plane ride. It is a bird who will fly them into the danger area, and Orville is probably my favorite character out of this movie. Definitely love the name and reminds me of Carousel Progress. So Orville is the flight. Now, when Bernard and Bianca meet Penny is a little disappointed they haven't actually brought the police. But Bernard and Bianca convince her that the three of them can get out of this together. And this does make Penny feel a little braver, and she comes up with a scheme to lock up the alligators in the elevator. But it doesn't get them out of trouble quite yet. In the morning, because none of their schemes have worked, Bianca has to go back down the hole, where she has brought up diamonds before, but not the eye of the diamond, which is what Madame Medusa is really looking for. And so Penny goes down, but this time she goes down with her friends. Bernard and Bianca are joining Penny in her search for the diamond, in hopes that will get Penny freed. Bernard and Bianca almost fall down another hole, which is where the water's coming up, that's going to eventually probably drown Penny if they don't get her out of there pretty soon. Bernard and Bianca find the diamond, and Penny is very brave. She gets over this big hole to get to them where they have found the diamond, because they can't get the diamond to her. So she goes after it. And it's difficult because the water keeps coming up, but eventually she gets the diamond, and she gets brought up the hole because she has the diamond. Though once Madame Medusa has the diamond, I don't think she cares if Penny falls back down the hole. Madame Medusa pretty much double crosses her partner, who's been with her the whole time, and says she's going to keep the diamond. And the alligators pick up Penny at this point, and they go back to the house. And this is not looking good for Penny at this point. But what Penny doesn't know is on the way to get her, Bernard and Bianca had told other animals of what they were doing. And the animals that are in the swampland or island area where Penny is being kept have come up with a plan. They're going to help Penny escape. And that's exactly what they do. They head to the house where Penny is being held, which is actually a ship, an old, ship-looking house. And they scheme and they get into the house where Penny is being kept. And they get the alligators into the elevator where Penny had originally thought to trap them. They light off fireworks, and this part they do the fireworks very slowly, so it doesn't affect you if you are epileptic. But if you are light sensitive, be careful at the end of the movie with the fireworks. But all these animals really help Penny escape. They help Penny even start the car, which was Madame Medusa's, to escape. Now, Madame Medusa somehow does end up being able to get a string and hold on to the car, but that will be her ultimate downfall. Because the ship, which has the fireworks going off, is starting to sink into the water while she is trying to get to Penny, who has not only escaped, but escaped with the devil-eyed diamond, which is really what she wants, because I don't think she cares two shakes about Penny. But she's trying to get her diamond back. So the alligators somehow, when the ship is going down, they pop out of the elevator, they land in the water, and then they land under Medusa's feet. And this ends up being bad for all of them, because the string eventually breaks, and they go right back in, flying into the top of the ship, which is almost all underwater, but Medusa bangs up against one of the ships where the smoke comes out of, and the alligators end up trying to eat her in the end. And
We did it, Bianca!
Hooray! Oh, Bernard, Bernard, you're wonderful.
We did it!
There goes my time.
Bernard, Bianca, and Penny, they escape with all the other animals on the car thing that was originally Madame Medusa's, and then she gets to be a hero in the end because Penny has brought the diamond back to the city, and the city people are thrilled to have the diamond back, and Penny gets a happily ever after because she gets adopted. And it's a great story. There is a little bit more to the end, but I don't like to ruin the very end. So definitely go check it out. And there are more rescuer movies if you like this one. I love Bernard and Bianca. And probably my favorite is Orville in the movie. But I am curious who everybody's favorite character is in the movie. And let me know what you think of the movie. Let me know if it's your vote. Thanks everybody for joining. Don't forget to vote, 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 comment section, and our community page.